Address extortions at the ports. Members of Council of Maritime Transport Union and Association, Comtua, appealed to the Nigerian Shippers Council. It is one sure way of reducing the high cost of transportation of containers by trucks, says the president, Comtua, Adeyinka Aroyewun. The program you're watching is The Shipper, Nigeria's authoritative public enlightenment platform on maritime activities, and my name is Abike Idowu. Stay with us as we take a short break.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a needle. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
For you, we dey gidigba,
Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting now for the port of Nane.
Welcome back. It's another half hour to talk maritime, and the program you're watching is The Shipper, brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council, the nation's port economic regulator. Members of the Council of Maritime Transport Union and Association want government to, as a matter of urgency, address the high cost of transportation within the country. They made this plea during a courtesy visit to the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Honorable Emmanuel Jime, in his office in Lagos.
There's communication gap between us and the terminal operators, the Shippers Council, the Nigeria Port Authority, and the security agencies. When there is no communication gap, we'll be able to tell them the problem we are facing, and I think they should be able to solve the problem as it comes. Money we are paying, we're using to drop the empty containers. And ordinarily, we are not supposed to be paying money. Once we carry the import, the shipping line is supposed to tell us where to drop the empty container. But it's not like that. When you carry an import, for you to drop the empty container, you must pay some certain amount, and the amount is too high on our own side.
Truck can load a container and is going to TICT, for instance, from My Two Road, is going to suffer with the whole fasting and prayer, with the whole extortion, with the whole brutalization of driver, with the whole damages on the truck, with the whole feeding driver. There's what we call feeding money. There's what we call so many owo everywhere. For Tinkan Terminal, we have MOB as the pre-gate. Getting to the pre-gate, they will tell you that the particular line, the particular shipping line you're carrying is not accessing the port. My brother, are you going to take that container to your village at that particular point in time? Just go front, problem, come back, problem. And you know that somebody that has spent, on average, 80,000, 50 to 80,000, that is money that they pay illegally to cross at income. That is the current price. Somebody that has spent that kind of money, you expect him to take these trucks back and go to his garage for waiting. Where does it happen? You see that the burden of the shipping line has been transferred to the trucker. You are expected to carry the truck like a mother carrying a baby, standing, static. The owner of the truck is feeding the driver. The owner of the truck is maintaining the truck. The owner of the truck is securing the truck. The owner of the truck is paying for parking money. All these expenses have been pushed to the trucker. That is why we are saying today, very soon, they will start receiving our invoices. They will start paying for demurrage because it is not of our own making that we got to the point of destination and they are telling us that what we are coming to do is not available. While on contract, we sign, let me get this cargo to this place. So things have to be put straight. The right policies have to be put in place. The issue of security, whereby thugs, area boys everywhere, collecting money and beating truckers, it has to be looked into. That's the area of security and enforcement.
We have these agents. They claim to be agents. They claim to be a middle man between the holding bear and the transporter or the importer. These are things we will look into. These people are the people that will go, they collect the money. Are you getting me? Maybe thinking they can influence some certain things. Are you getting me? So I think there is a lot of fallacy in that point. But they should still look into it and also state out the terminals that are involved in this. But I know I cannot just speak for other time, but I'm speaking for my own terminal.
Interesting. Now, Additional Abiodun has more details of that meeting in this report presented by Lucy Olugbe.
Corruption is one major problem that all nations have to contend with. It's a cancer that, if allowed to fester, will eat deep into the fabric of society with adverse economic effects. Operators of the Nigeria's maritime sector, like their counterparts in all other sectors of the nation's economy, have continued to devise measures to tackle corrupt practices under any guise at the ports. Members of Committee of Maritime Truck Unions and Associations, Comtua, led by their president, Adeyinka Aroyewun, are worried about the incessant extortion by touts, otherwise known as error boys, which they have identified as one of the major reasons for the high cost of movement of containers from the ports to other parts of the country. The President told the Executive Secretary of Nigerian Shippers Council, Right Honorable Emmanuel Jime, that the situation is so bad that in some cases, members are physically assaulted and humiliated for refusing to pay the illegal charges at the various checkpoints and locations in the country.
The business environment is entirely unfriendly. From Ijora Fax to the port in Apapa, there are 11 checkpoints. From Fagims to Tinkan, there are 13 checkpoints. All these checkpoints manned by police, LASMA, FRSC, MPA, outside their jurisdiction. And there's none of these checkpoints that you pass, even with your electronic color document, that you will not pay. Drivers are beaten, maimed, and a lot of people lost their lives in November at Mile 2. Just because we complain that we cannot continue to pay these extortion fees. Please, Nigeria Shippers Council, the management of the empty containers are not, the administration is totally against our business. We'll bring containers to the port as transfer. CMA will tell you we are not receiving 40 feet for now. You should go and wait. We can be there for 1 month. And nobody pays us for demurrage. And the same person that contracted you to lift this container will go and report you with the police that you did not return the container on time. And the shipping company is charging a demurrage of about 3 million on this same container. Therefore, the police will put our member behind cell on purely business affairs as something that is not our fault. Mr. Iyesa, we will appeal that you come to our aid in this regard.
According to the president of the association, it's a practice that places huge financial burden on not just owners of containers of goods, but the entire value chain in the business up to consumers. He stressed that if the ugly trend is not checked, it will cripple maritime activities. Aroyewun therefore appealed to the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Right Honorable Emmanuel Jime, to come to their rescue by engaging the various heads of the law enforcement agencies to work out strategies to deal with the menace.
By the time we are paid 120,000 naira to move cargo from Tinkan to Ikeja, our drivers are paid in percentages, give and take. with the road expenses, we give them 40,000 naira. For Eto, contrary to our agreement of 10,000 naira per truck per movement, it is now 22,500 naira, which makes it 65,000 naira for that loading to start with. Then you will go with a diesel of about 32,000 naira. And you're coming back from point to point, even with your Edo. You'll be parting with 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, as the case may be. At the end of the day, you go with minus, just to say you are in business. God forbid you lose a tire in the course of doing this. That tire is now the China owned, is 150,000 naira for one. We are practically getting out of business. A whole lot of us live on facility from banks. We have nothing less than 180,000 trucks of our members. If we are chased out of business, it is a major problem. So Nigeria Shippers Council should come to our aid.
Obviously touched by the plight of the association, the NSC boss thanked the Council of Maritime Transport Unions and Associations for choosing the path of dialogue to address the issue instead of resorting to acts capable of destroying the potentially peaceful business environment. Honorable Jime assured his guests of Council's quick intervention in dealing with the problem.
I stand up here and I'm feeling pain. I just can appreciate what the shipping community is going through. Not only you, the truckers, but indeed, the whole environment. There's need to do some real proper review of where we're at. And I believe that the body whose mandate is to regulate the space and create an enabling environment for people to effectively conduct their businesses. Our work is cut out. I can give you my assurances of our readiness to continue to provide obvious solutions. We should continue to be law-abiding, follow the due process, and I'm happy to hear that you already are doing that.
Jime expressed concern about the congestion on Port Access Road that has continued to negatively affect operations of members of Council of Maritime Transport Unions and Associations. He assured that a stakeholders meeting comprising representatives of the various law enforcement agencies will be convened to come up with proper solutions to the problem.
The congestion that we have leading into all of our ports, without any exception. It's one that I think really worries everyone. I believe you're worried about it. We are worried, everybody is, because the impact that this is happening on economic activity can not easily be quantified. I mean, it's really a challenge. And I think that we all have a duty to make sure that we, as much as possible, reduce this incidence of too much congestion on access into the ports. Whilst the Shippers Council is willing and ready to work with you, we're actually also ready to work with all stakeholders. Everyone who has a responsibility, who has a duty. It is our job to call them out when we think that they're not doing the right thing. And where it is also even within the limits of our powers to exact any amount of sanctions, we'll be more than willing to do that.
Director, Regulatory Services Department of the NSC, Ifeoma Ezedima, told the visitors that Council, as port economic regulator, is at the forefront of efforts to sanitize the ports and will not relent. She noted that demurrage and other related charges are increasing.
Shippers Council actually got a solution, yes, which we pushed MPA to deploy, but it wasn't it. So we actually want whatever solution to work.
Electronic card.
Yes, electronic card. We want it, want it to work. Because it will ease your burden and it will also ease the burden of the final person that is using the product that you're carrying at the end of the day. It will be good for us because we're going to engage with some of these people, MPA, Lagos State Government. This thing needs to be solved.
For the Director in charge of Consumer Affairs Department, Chief Kajetan Agu, it's important for truckers to be part of the NSC Stakeholders Register.
I want to use this opportunity to remind your members. There was a time we wrote letters to your association on the need for your members to register with the Nigerian Shippers Council. You know, it's only few operators that has responded. You know, if you want us to serve you better, definitely you need to register with us. Because in the spirit of operation, know your customer. If we know you better, you know, if you have a problem, you can easily call me. Because I know some truckers that called me because they are registered with us. And we also try to interface with the people who are on field and got their problem solved. So please do us a favor and ensure that within the shortest possible time, your members, all of them will register with the Nigeria Shippers Council. Our appeal is that you also discuss with your members to continue to be law-abiding. Why am I saying so? In the course of our interaction with both MPA and the management of ATO, we discovered that it is true that maybe 500 colors might be issued in a day. But when they issue the color, it doesn't mean that the entire 500 should leave their different parts and come and line up in the road. If such a thing happens, it means that the purpose of the color is defeated, because we don't want trucks to queue on the road. You know, the essence of call-up is that even if it is 500, maybe in 2-3 hours, 100 will now go. In another 3 hours, another 100 will go. They will do it in that order until they clear the backlog for the day. But experience has shown that once some of the truckers receive a call-up, they will jump to the road. That is their own side of the story. But what I'm assuring you is that we are equally going to look at the processes and procedure for the call-up. We're equally going to have a meeting to discuss. Shippers Council, we are going to carry independent investigation, because it's not only the truck owners that are complaining. Even on the platform, there are various degrees of complaint against ATO. But it is the responsibility of all of us, you know, to ensure that some of these challenges will find solution to them.
Council of Maritime Transport Unions and Associations comprise National Union of Road Transport Workers, transporters who are drivers, as well as operators in the industry. The Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria are owners of trucks. Others include Logistics Practitioners of Nigeria and Container Truck Owners Association of Nigeria.
Shippers Council will not relent in its efforts to sanitize the ports. It's now time to join Oluwasegun Aloko on a voyage around the world of maritime activities on Tidbits.
The chairman, Dalai Inland Dry Port, Kano, Abubakar Baoro, has said that the Dalai Inland Dry Port will be ready for inauguration in March 2022. Baoro made the disclosure during a visit to the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Shippers Council, Emmanuel Jime, in Abuja. Baoro noted that over 80% of work on the project has been completed. He said the project, when ready, will boost relations between Nigeria and the Niger Republic. Responding, Emmanuel Jime pledged the support of NSC to render every necessary support to ensure the success of the project. Still in Abuja, the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Shippers Council, Emmanuel Jime, also received the concessionaire of the Funta Inland Dry Port in Katsina, led by the Managing Director, Equatorial Marine Oil and Gas Limited, Mr. Usman Abbas. Emmanuel Jime advised the concessionaire to ensure they comply with the specifications for the construction of a dry port. He further said that the Ministry of Transport has approved the IDP's operational manual, which will be launched soon. He expressed joy at the level of work done so far at the port, while hoping that it will be ready for inauguration soon. Now, a look at our complaints register for the week. A total number of 15 complaints were received. 3 have been resolved, and 12 are ongoing investigations. Some of these complaints include arbitrary charges, over-invoicing, demurrage on storage, detention charges, container deposits, and barge operations. The regulatory regime of Nigerian Shippers Council has brought relief to shippers in the maritime industry while ensuring that economic gains are obtained for the nation. A shipper, Business Smart Concept, testified to this in its appreciation letter to the Council. We want to use this medium to show appreciation on how your staff intervened promptly and unblocked a 40-foot container which was illegally blocked by the Maritime Police at Ocean Network shipping line. We also want to acknowledge your efforts in sanitizing the maritime industry. And here is a reminder to all regulated service providers, such as terminal operators, barge operators, shipping companies, freight forwarders, and clearing agents, amongst others, to register with the Council. Failure to do so will attract penalties. Registration can be done via the website www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. It's time for updates on current issues in the global maritime sector. International Maritime Organization is continuing its efforts to support the careers of women in the maritime sector through delivery of a 2-week online course from 17th to 28th January. The Women in Port Management course is open to women officials from maritime and port authorities of developing countries in Francophone Africa. It aims to help attendees improve their skills for management and operational efficiency at the ports they work in. AP Mola Maersk has announced that it is releasing all historical and future ocean weather observations into the public domain for free use by the scientific community around the globe. The data, which has been collected by Maersk vessels since 2012, increases publicly available ocean weather data by 28%. The goal is to aid climate research and weather forecast by providing weather data from the world's oceans, where ground-level data coverage is slim. In the United States, Navy's Commander Billy Farrell has become the first woman to serve as the commanding officer of the United States ship Constitution, the world's oldest commissioned warship still afloat in 224 years of history. Farrell previously served as the executive officer aboard the Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruiser USS Vicksburg. She took office from Commandant John Bender during a change of command ceremony on 21st January, making her the ship's 77th commanding officer. British and Australian Navy ships have arrived in Tonga to deliver aid following the volcano eruption and tsunami that hit the island nation recently. In a statement released from the government of Australia, the crew members decided on a contactless delivery after 23 sailors aboard the Australian ship HMAS Adelaide caught the COVID infection. This is to prevent a possible spread of coronavirus among the Tongan population. In Japan, Mitsui Oil Lines (MO) and Oshima Shipbuilding have completed the art sail system jointly developed under the Wind Challenger project at the Oshima shipyard. MOL has been promoting the Wind Challenger project to harness wind as a propulsive force for merchant ships. The additional propulsion power from the wind can reduce a vessel's greenhouse gas emissions by an estimated 5% to 8% compared to conventional ships of the same class. And that's it on Tidbits for this week.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
And that's it on our program today. Do remember to register with Nigerian Shippers Council as a regulated service provider on www.shipperstradedata.gov.ng. It's been a pleasure bringing you the program, but a bigger pleasure, as always, is having you join us. Let's do this again next week when we'll bring you another exciting episode of The Shipper. Until then, have a great week. Goodbye.